And away we go. My name is Mitchell.
I'm Brett.
This is Real World Recovery. And
I'm destroying things already.
I almost tripped over the new cooler. Oof. See, now I guess I need to lock the wheels. There we go. I think that we need to have a poll or something on the Discord where every week you guys can bet on whether I accidentally move the tables or Brett does.
Oh, I won't be accidentally moving them.
No, I mean like
my OCD will
bump into them. You know what I mean?
My OCD will be moving them.
How was your week? It
was good. Yeah. Fantastic, man.
What'd you do?
Worked on doing a lot of the editing of the audio. I got the last 5 days. I got 5 episodes put up.
Banging it out.
Yeah, and I got us signed up for probably like 20 something different podcasting platforms.
So did you end up making it through that list you were showing me?
Not quite. That took a backseat to getting the audio edited, but I did get us signed up for the partner program for like the bigger ones.
Okay.
Apple, Amazon, Spotify, so that when it does get there, we can monetize. So well, maybe we'll be able to make back enough to pay for all of the equipment I bought. Maybe.
Which I'm grateful that you bought that, because I just don't have the money to do it.
I had a good few years at the previous job, so
yeah. It almost lasted for me for a while, but it'll be okay.
Well, who knows? Who knows with that place?
Yeah. Well,
there's been some big changes lately.
Yeah. It'd be funny if our phones rang. Something funny that happened to me is when I was 18, like I was pretty directionless with my life. I was like, I was a raver, and I was like, man, thing, whatever. And I tried to join the Marine Corps, and at that time I already had some pot charges. And some other things going on, and they were like, yeah, about that, son, but you can join the Army. And I was like, if I'm gonna go like be in the armed services, like I'm gonna be a Marine. And so I was like, whatever. And then September 11th happened later that summer.
Did they change their mind?
Yeah, my phone rang.
Yeah,
and they're like, hey son, you still thinking about joining the Marines? I was like, I was thinking about it when I was going to go to Japan and hang out in Japan. Yeah. Afghanistan does not sound as fun.
Yeah.
I'm probably good.
Yeah.
Probably good.
Yeah. A little bit different nightlife there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a thing that happened to me. Speaking of jobs calling you back.
Yeah.
I guess that's what that is, right? Kind of job changing. It's mine.
Yeah.
We're too old to get drafted, right?
Who knows?
You guys can fly drones.
Hey, I mean, who knows? At this point, how was your week?
My week, that's a good question. I edited. I've been on Twitch 3 Sundays in a row. So I'm starting to make that a consistent thing, and I think that's good for me to have that creative outlet. I hit this wall at like 2.5 hours though, where it's just like standing, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like creatively, I kind of hit a spot where I'm like, but that's fine. 2.5 hours is long enough behind the decks. I mean, at my aunt and uncle's house, I got all my books for school, which starts on Wednesday. I have started the communication with 3 of the 4 professors. 4. There's a ton of extra credit in my psychology class, so that means that I'm going to be doing a ton of extra credit because I want every point I can get for the transfer credits. But that was kind of cool to see. It's like, yeah, you can basically just have this if you try, and if you want to apply yourself, you can probably do pretty well with it.
Nice.
Okay, so that's sweet. It's good to know going into it. There's no like hidden agenda. Looking at the syllabus is just like, I'm like, it all comes flooding back. You're like, oh shit, man, I'm in school. I have been working incessantly on that basement, trying to get it cleaned up. And between the stress of like getting everything in order to go to school and trying to clean that basement up, it has been a real struggle for me this week.
Yeah.
Be real honest with you. A lot of the not like full blown like crazy mania, but like that like just like racing thoughts, forgetting what you're doing, the back and forth. Yeah. Good times. Good times. I've been a little short with people, a little snappy, if you will.
Yeah.
It's all self-imposed. You know, there's no timeline for them, just like before the end of March. I feel like if I give myself that kind of leeway, it's not going to get done. Do you know what I mean? So it needs to get done. That's been my challenge. It's been challenging. It's been a challenging week, but I'm here.
Speaking of challenges,
I feel pretty good.
that's our topic.
Yeah.
Unexpected challenges.
What happens?
How we deal with them, and coping mechanisms and tools. And
what would you consider your biggest unexpected challenge in the past year besides, you know?
I think it would probably be dealing with the shakeup with work, where all of a sudden it was like, it went from things were kind of just on autopilot.
Yeah.
We had a team that was working remotely, so it was a lot of the, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, which is good.
It was great.
I mean, for us.
It was great. But then there was, I don't know if it was a corporate push,
I don't think there was
the reason for it was, but they brought in then a VP into the call center.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Demoted, or I guess
side quested.
Technically demoted.
Yeah. I mean,
the director.
In video games we call it a side grade.
Sure.
Could be better, could be worse.
But I mean, it was technically a demotion.
Yeah, but I mean, it held the same monetary value.
And what got less responsibility, effectively.
I mean, if that were me, I would have just started like coasting. They were like, "Here's your opportunity to coast and take your hands off."
The problem that caused was rather than having a wide scope of things to pay attention to and be distracted by and micromanage, now it's a very narrow scope.
Oh, I know.
And then all of a sudden, our team is under the microscope. So it was unexpected from a certain point of view. I kind of saw the writing on the wall coming, but I didn't know how it was going to...
I didn't think that they were going to take a hammer to it the way they did. Like, I expected there to be some changes, maybe some more oversight, maybe like a little better... I mean, I don't know how we could have done a better job proving that we were doing what we were doing. The way they just came in and broke it. Like they took they took a hammer to it. They're like, hey, everything that you've been doing, we need you to do it a different way. Yeah. Oh, and we're going to have somebody who's never seen you do your job, has no idea how to do your job, be your direct supervisor. It was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was.
The way it was handled was the unexpected part. Mm-hmm. The fact that things changed wasn't so much unexpected. I knew that was going to happen as soon as they brought in a VP and what do you call it? Side quested?
Side grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Side graded the director.
I think
who's now been fired.
Fortnite, Fallout. I mean, a lot of the shooter games.
Who's now been fired. So
yeah, well, which is why our phones might ring, guys.
But it's
which would be
the thing about that news though is it's like I don't take a huge amount of like pleasure in knowing that person got fired, but it is somewhat validating.
I mean, I no lie, I feel a bit of Schadenfreude towards the situation because like
there is some
like
how.
I know we're not supposed to be judgmental.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel any, but it's more so a feeling that validated or vindicated of the things that I brought up when I had the meeting of like, here are my concerns, here are the things that I see happening.
Right. I mean, at this point, it's like too little, too late. They should have done it when they side graded.
Yeah.
Or them. Sorry, we can beep that out.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. She's never going to watch
If you're out there
this.
watching, you.
She's never going to watch this.
We can edit that out.
Definitely will.
Or not. I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
It'll be bonus content.
Sure. Speaking of...
what was your...
my biggest challenge?
Yeah.
An unexpected challenge that happened. I don't know if it was the biggest. Because there's been so many. But, like, having my car start running kind of crappy, my Avalon. Mm-hmm. And then I went to, change the spark plugs. And since I had the intake off, I was going to do the, what do you call it? Valve cover gaskets because they were leaking. And it's just like, something that you do on old V6s and V8s is you change the valve cover gaskets. I mean, most older cars, eventually you do it. And then a bolt snapped off in it at the very back of the motor. So like,
oof.
And yeah, and it was a 97. It was like a 97 or a 98. And so not worth paying somebody a couple grand to get that bolt out.
Right.
So I went from having a car to not like in the blink of an eye. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of lame. I mean, I think I handled it all right. I didn't cry. But it was definitely like one of those things where it was like, well, at least I have a decent job because, we had that job and paid us fairly decent. So, I could buy something better. But yeah, it was like there was that moment when I felt that bolt break. And anybody who has worked on a car or anything mechanical knows that feeling where it's like, and you're like, oh no.
Yep.
Oh no. And it's just like, well, okay. And so I think I just like kind of went into my apartment and I sat down and I was like, well, I wonder how much money I can get for this if I donate it like off my taxes, or like how much is it worth scrap? Because I mean, the thing about it is I paid, I think $800, maybe $500, something like that. It's my cousin, same cousin whose apartment I'm cleaning up. When he was moving to Alaska, he needed money to go and I needed a car, and it worked out perfect. This is one of those moments where, a younger version of myself would have been like, here's my reason to drink for the day.
Right. As if we needed it.
But yeah, it's a bonus if you find one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we always could find one.
Oh, there's something else that happened. Oh yeah, and then I found out my power steering rack that I put all the money into in my new car had failed, and it was just like I was like, man, well, it's another instance though. It's like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah. Yep.
That was when I looked down at my bracelet and I was like, what would Brett do? I'm gonna have those made. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Spoiled the surprise.
What was your answer?
He would not react.
Well, I don't know if I would. I don't know if I wouldn't react.
He would pause to think through his reaction before manifesting it.
I definitely still react. Especially when I get frustrated with stuff, like we were talking about when I try to put together furniture, especially if I'm doing anything where it requires the fine motor skills and my hands start to shake. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I'll get frustrated and I use a few choice curse words, but then that just means, okay, time to step away for a minute, reset, do literally anything else.
Right.
Come back to it after I've centered again. And that's it.
I have changed my reaction to so many things this past year, even in general. Like, you've known me long enough now where you remember when I was still pretty fresh and manic all the time. And I feel like I'm not like that as much anymore. Do you sleep on things before you have a reaction?
A reaction? Not necessarily. I'll sleep on things more for making a decision.
Mm-hmm.
The emotional component of it, I suppose, is already kind of muted. I don't tend to get too worked up about things, and if I do get frustrated, it happens pretty quickly.
Want to one day before we die see you whip like a chocolate milkshake out your car window at somebody because that would just be like, oh
yeah.
I mean, I know it's totally not something you would do, but
I can't imagine a scenario where that is going to be the case.
Is it because you don't imagine yourself having a milkshake in that fancy car of yours?
Maybe part of it, but more so just didn't really do a lot of like eating in the car. It's just not.
I used to. I used to eat in cars. I used to smoke in cars, and then I was like,
smoking. I did.
I like,
but that was because I smoked.
Yeah, I was cleaning out my car at some point in my mid-30s, and I was like, this is gross. And then I'm like, no more.
Yeah, the food thing is
no more.
I'm never in so much of a hurry that I need to eat while I'm in my car.
Mm-hmm. I've only in the past like 6-7 years, the only person I've ever like eaten in my car is my oldest daughter, and it's only been recently. I think it's been twice, and both times it was like picking her up from some school thing, and she's starving, and I'm not trying to go sit in McDonald's. You know what I mean? But yeah, eating in cars is gross. Have you had any like minute challenges?
I mean, I think those are all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a daily thing.
What do you do to make it through all that?
A lot of times it's just falling back on systems, man. I know I preach it all the time, but I in my phone I've got alarms throughout the day.
Really?
Yeah. So when I wake up in the morning, I've got an alarm for making coffee, alarm for start reading my books, alarm for listening to podcasts, an alarm for start working on our show, whether I'm editing or reading stuff to research, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like throughout the day. And so I don't have to remember. So it's just another way to take that off of my conscious plate, and then it just phone goes off and it's like, oh, okay, it's that time.
Sure.
Get started doing that. I think one of the biggest challenges lately has been not having a set schedule with just doing this now.
Yeah.
And not having a work schedule, for example.
I'm a little excited to have the routine of school back.
That's part of the reason that I started doing that with the phone, was finding that I was having a hard time getting started.
Right.
And then figuring out, okay, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
yeah, that like what I was talking about earlier today, where you're just walking back and forth and not really accomplishing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, the last episode that I edited for the audio reminded me of a great piece of wisdom, I guess you'd call it, for lack of a better word, but was doing less. Not achieving less, but just reducing the focus of what I'm putting my effort towards.
Right.
And so that's been helpful. I've been trying to fill my calendar with just, these are the items that I want to focus on. These are the things I want to get done.
You know, it's interesting. Like, I found, I didn't intentionally do this, but I've kind of like taken to the basement with that approach, where it's like, okay, as long as I accomplish this section and this is arranged by this way by this time, then I will feel like I've done enough.
Yep.
it's not something like I scheduled or wrote down or planned out. It's just like something I did naturally, I guess.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Well, and the other thing I've been doing is the first big thing that I do is always the like big project that I actually like want to get done for the day. So
Let's start there.
So that's the first thing that I go for, and I usually around 10:30 is when I start.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat. I like to start about 10:30.
Like I'm up at 6:30.
I'm not. That's insanity.
That first few hours is my puttering time. Like that's when I make coffee, read my stuff, listen to my podcasts, and just kind of ease into the day. I don't actually do anything with my phone other than podcasts until 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then come 10:30, that's when these last few days, the project has been, and the next few days until I get
caught
up to present episode, will be getting an episode a day of the audio edited and uploaded to the RSS.
The last two should be cut properly for that, aren't they?
We're getting closer to being a much less daunting task. But those early episodes were...
Oh, yeah, that's insane.
I needed to try to run it through Audacity to clean up the audio and then cut out all of our pauses and you knows and you know what I means and and all of the...
40 minutes of talking about editing last podcast.
Yeah.
Here we are back on topic. Brah. You guys hear that?
Maybe. That's my French toast. She's
Oh my gosh.
She does not like closed doors when she knows I'm inside.
I don't think that she's ever done that to us on the podcast like that. That was like, are you still alive? Oh my god.
She has always been like that. She does not like it when I'm behind a closed door. She will.
I chased her around the apartment earlier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I told her she needed to lose some weight, and I chased her around the couch.
I mean, you're not wrong. You want to?
Oh, I'm just gonna do it. Oh, it's Vicky.
Oh, hi, Vicky.
Hi, Vicky.
Wow.
Maybe that's why it's so incessant.
Yeah, I'm surprised. That's usually French toast doing that, but all right. So it's a Vicky this time.
Yeah.
All right.
Now she's going to want right back out.
Yep.
Anyway.
That's an unexpected challenge.
that is. Now it's like how to edit it because it's good content. How to make it not take so long.
Yeah.
I hope you can hear the scratching. I really do. I doubt it, but... Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. She just wanted to check it out. Oh, no, there's Toasty. Cats, am I right?
Kitty kitty meow.
They're fun.
Cats are awesome.
Yeah.
I want a cat. I currently have 2 outdoor cats, apparently.
We've got guests on that.
Oh my gosh.
We can probably just leave it open.
Leave the door open?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's Vicky again.
Yep.
Are they like out of food or water or something?
No.
Is there?
No, they just are bored, I think, and know that we're in here, and so they're gonna come in and check it out.
Okay. Well.
Hi.
There you go.
Hi.
Brett, you're not paying enough attention to her.
We're not.
You think she's gonna come up there?
Sometimes she does.
I bet she won't let you pick her up.
She's a weird cat, man. She's definitely a character.
That's what they do.
So let's talk about skills that
Other
you've...
challenges.
Just some other skills that you've...
That I've learned to not...
Some things that we didn't incorporate and make use of previously that we've since learned.
I think, you know, you do a lot of the stoicism stuff, but it's a mindset change where how important is it really? You know, I'm pretty fond of saying that the only time I get very frustrated is when I'm driving, and that is entirely self-inflicted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because we're all just driving on the same road, man. It's not my fault that I am inherently better at it than the rest of you all. It's just, you know, some of us are just born different. I can't help it. But like in day-to-day things, there's like a tool or a way of thinking about things, I guess, and that's taught in REBT, where it's like rated on a scale of life-threatening to absolutely mundane. Rate, you know, your stress should be wherever that is on that scale. Like, we all have a tendency, especially in active addiction, to, you know, we have to get our right now. We need it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I've got to have it now. I need to get to the store before 2 a.m. La 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 la. That's a constant, like, life-threatening stress level. It definitely didn't happen at first, but, you know, after about a year and a half of not living like that, you start to kind of be like, oh, it's okay to not be losing my mind 24/7. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? But it took time. I don't know that there was a specific tool, like just meditating and like just understanding like where things lie on there. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, if like there's a tornado coming, I'm gonna run to shelter and I'm gonna be stressed out about it. Or I'll be on the roof watching it. I don't know. It depends on how close it's gonna get. But like, you can't just like live your life like everything is the end of the world, you know. And an example of it earlier today, where it's just like I can't solve the problem, so either leave me alone or I'm gonna, you know, block you for the night. I mean, I'll reopen that channel of communication, but I'm not gonna deal with you being manic and stressed out over something I can't help you with. You know what I mean? I'm not your therapist. I'm not your daddy. You know? It was an unexpected challenge for that person.
Yeah. That, you know, sounds like focusing on what you can control, you know? Mm-hmm. And more importantly, recognizing the things that you can't and being able to let that go.
Yeah. Well, and even being able to differentiate.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that for much of my life I could. At least not properly. You know, you put unnecessary value on certain things that...
Well, and...
Do you know what I mean?
We, I think, wanted to focus so much on what was happening to us. Mm. That self-centered thinking of like, why is this happening to me? That was the cause of the anger, frustration, but it was also the thing that compounded the challenge. So like, yeah, taking that piece out of it, that, oh, why is this happening to me? That person, why did they do this to me? Blah, 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 whatever that is, taking that out of it, then it's just a problem to solve. Mm-hmm. Just a thing that happened, rather than blaming or getting mad or any of that.
Yeah.
Being able to omit that and just deal with the situation really lessens how difficult that situation really is for us. Mm-hmm. So
this is going to be the cat episode.
It is.
Unexpected challenges named French Toast and Vicky.
Yep.
How did Vicky get her name? And is French Toast actually this cat's name?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. My former roommate had 2 cats. Mm-hmm. The other cat is named Bacon.
So Bacon and French Toast?
Yeah.
Is this the roommate that had baby alligators?
No.
Okay.
That was forever ago.
I mean, I don't live in your world, so
No, that was forever ago. That was back in my 20s. But yeah, when I moved in with him, bacon was very much his like person. Like they were bonded.
They were soul bonded.
Yeah. So when I moved in, French toast was like, "You're my person."
Aww.
And so then when I moved out, he was like, "Well, if you want, like, Toasty adores you, so like, if you want to keep Toast, like,
There you go.
I was like, absolutely."
And then you started feeding her a raw hamburger.
I did not. I absolutely did
She
not.
is one thick girl.
I absolutely did not.
And then Vicky was your partner's cat, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, Vicky traveled all the way across country in a car with Cassidy,
that
so.
sounds terrible for both parties.
No, she loved it.
She was down?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
she was.
I guess I've seen it both ways. I've had cats that were not at all happy with the experience of being in a car.
Vic loved it.
And then there's been others where like he would ride in the car with me to the dunes to go for a walk and then come back to the car with no leash.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are cats out there
Yep.
that will, play. I don't know. Helios.
You can probably grab that door. I'm guessing they've got their fix now.
You say that.
They know what's going on.
there looking at me, watching me do it.
That's fine. They'll deal.
Oh my gosh. I just wanted the footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, of me like sliding up, looking at the camera like that.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Sometimes my creative mind is like, oh, just give me this. Just give me this little shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever dumps your truck.
You never know when it might come in handy.
Yeah.
Because now it's on film.
Yep. Whatever dumps your truck.
I was always fond of saying whatever blows your goat. I was walking on a pier in St. Joseph, Michigan with a young woman when I was in high school. And she said, like, whatever tugs your boat. And I was like, wouldn't it be funnier if it was whatever blows your goat? And we agreed. And so then I've been saying it ever since.
Great story.
I'm full of them.
Yeah.
Great stories, that is.
Yep.
I mean, I have to have something to show for all of the insanity, right? It's a great story.
Yeah.
It has intrinsic value, I would think. Or nobody cares. I don't know. Fascinating tangent, Mitchell.
What else you want to talk about?
Do you know what the word of the day is?
I don't know what yours is.
What did you bring your own word of the day?
I did.
Oh my gosh, he brought a word of the day, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited.
Do
you want to go first? Because I'm just going to read the Merriam-Webster one.
Mine's probably going to beat that.
I'm sure it will, because you've put thought into it.
Yeah. This is one of the...
Where I just liked it. I was like, okay.
So there's two non-scientific longest words. One is the most syllables and one is the most letters.
Okay.
The most syllables is anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the longest letter-wise, isn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, what's the other one?
Floxanoxanillahilipilification. That might be the most syllables.
What in the fuck is that?
Floxanoxanillahilipilification.
That's fantastic. What is that?
This is where it gets really good.
Mm-hmm.
The act of giving a definition to a word that doesn't need a definition. Floxanoxanillahilipilification.
That is... Where did that come from? It doesn't need a definition.
I don't know.
Well, I'm just curious, like, what language did that derive from? Like, well, ication. So we're talking about Spanish, well, romance, but like, interesting.
Latin, probably.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant by romance.
Other than that, I don't know.
You're gonna have to send that to me typed out so that I can do some more research on that because I really, really want to know.
Yeah, it's a great word.
My curiosity is piqued. Yeah, it's fantastic.
But it's
hell yeah. See, I knew once you started bringing them to the table, they were gonna be great. That's why I kept pushing for it.
Well, I've been said I've been called I've been called a cunning linguist.
You know what's funny? Is today's word for Merriam-Webster is parlay. And I parlayed this segment into you bringing that fantastic word. Yeah. Isn't that great? Yeah. So I actually want to this little history here. I mean, because we all know what it means. It's used.
It's margarine.
It's used to. It's used in English to develop something or get something of greater value. It's originally having to do with bets. You know what I mean? Placing bets and getting a bigger bet. Oh my gosh, where was the thing? Okay. Here's the word parlay originally belonged exclusively to gambling as in parlance, where to parlay is to take winnings from a previous bet along with one's original stake money and use them to make another bet or a series of bets, right? The verb comes from the noun paroli, a borrowing from French, itself borrowed from Italian, that refers to a system of such betting. After decades of this specific use, not only did parlay start to be used as a noun synonymous with paroli, but English speakers upped the ante by using the verb figuratively in situations where somebody uses or develops something such as a skill or hard work for the purpose of getting something else of even greater value, which applies to your word, which is fantastic. Full fucking circle with the cat scratching in the background.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah,
yeah, I thought that was neat.
This is definitely the cat episode.
I mean, kitty meow.
All we need now is the printer.
You know, I am on your Wi-Fi. It's funny. I could schedule a print and not tell you. And just have it keep happening, and that's just a blank page, so you don't know what's going on. Of course, I've ruined it now by talking about it, but sounds like something I would do. It's ruined now, though, because now you know. It's not fun if you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
It is half the battle. Are you sure it's not like 2/3 of the
I was wondering what the other half was.
I mean, doing something about it, right? Or that's a good question. I want to Google that, but
like, is the battle itself only half the battle?
Well, I think like the other. That's really good. So the more I think about it, the more I'm like, what does that mean?
Like that's such a nonsensical. Knowing is half the battle. No, it's not. The battle's the battle.
Right. So the first step is admitting you have a problem. Like, no, the first step is to not do it. But you can't do it unless you are aware that you need to stop doing it. I guess. I don't know. It's also cyclical. It really can be. I always thought it was funny back in Grand Rapids, the old timers would always say, "Yeah, you know how this program goes for young guys. It's 1, 2, 3, drink," and I'm like, I don't get it. Yep. And then I was like, oh, because nobody wants to do their 4th stop.
Right.
Now I get it.
Yep. Yeah. 4 is tough, man.
Well, here's the thing. At
least that first 4th.
I like to tell people that if you're, not going to do a 4th step with a sponsor, that's fine. But write down all the stuff that you feel bad about or you feel a way about. Write it all down. And then go to your therapist twice a week and just go through the list. and address things that you can address. And if you can't address certain things, then it's probably somewhere where you need to do an eighth or, an eighth step. You know what I mean? So like, that's how I ended up doing it. It was very much on accident. Like one of my roommates was nice enough to point that out to me. There's nothing like doing the steps accidentally in retrospect, if you, as you will. But I mean, you've got to do something about it. If you leave all that stuff to rattle around in your head forever, you're not going to be able to face any of the unexpected challenges when they come along.
Do you think you're going to go back through and intentionally do them again when you get back into therapy?
I'm definitely going to intentionally do a bunch of stuff that I already have written down and ready to go. But like, to go through like the entire list again, or the list, like make a new list since like the past few years.
Well, I mean, since you said that you accidentally did the steps before, do you see yourself going through and doing them again, but intentionally?
Like, intentionally, like with a sponsor?
Not necessarily. Like you said, you did them with your therapist. So you said you're going to be going back to therapy. So
right.
Do you see
well,
that?
I see therapy as a continuation of the progress that I had already made with newfound,
sure,
problems and insecurities.
Yeah, and that's why in 12-step programs they don't stop after
right.
They do 12. They go back through and do it again because
sure.
Well,
I think that therapy in general is a continuation of 4 and 5 if you want to look at it from a clinical standpoint. Well, you know what I mean? As long as you're using it appropriately. You've heard me say this a lot too. You can't just go in there and bitch about what you want to bitch about today.
Right.
You have to go in there with intentionality.
Yeah. But the reason I ask is, it's like the Stoic phrase, you can't step in the same river twice because the water keeps flowing, so it's a different river, and by the time
the silt is all moved.
Well, and by the time you get back, you're a different person. You've experienced more life, and so.
Well, I got a list.
So,
if that's part of the question, I guess I hadn't thought about it that way, but yeah, I definitely have like a bunch of stuff written down. It's gonna be a fun day for whoever gets to have that bit of joy.
Do you like interview your therapist to like decide whether or not it's going to be a good fit, or do you just kind of jump right in?
I did very much so with the AODA. My last couple, yeah. I didn't used to because it wasn't like. It was like, oh, I need to get. Everybody says I need therapy. I'm gonna go to therapy.
Yeah.
Like, of course I'm gonna go to therapy. I mean, I didn't do anything with it. Yeah, when it became more intentional, when I started trying, it became more necessary for it to be somebody who could handle my wild mood swings and my manic disposition, which isn't so much like that anymore, thankfully. But it definitely was back then. And I was not for every therapist either. I've been fired by plenty of therapists myself because they're like, brah. I mean, I'm sure they didn't say it like that. They were like, yes, sir, you cannot keep your shit together and I cannot help you.
Well,
it probably didn't sound like that either.
I mean, I would rather have somebody be honest that...
Yeah, I mean, it's fair enough. I mean, the one I just kept going drunk, and that's like, she's like, what are you doing, man?
It's the same thing that happened with my second sponsor. It was like, he was just like, yeah, this isn't gonna work. Like, we're on two different sets of expectations.
Sure.
But I appreciated that because it taught me that having that conversation up front and early of here's what I'm expecting out of this relationship, and here's what I intend to bring, list of expectations and a list of what they're planning on.
My last therapist was pretty awesome. You show up with notes, and they're usually like, oh man, I wish everybody did that. Because I have to imagine, knowing what I was like in therapy for so very long, a lot of people just go in there and they're like, just bitching. They're complaining.
Yeah.
I've been told that it was...
And it's probably just off the cuff.
Good and healthy.
Whatever they're thinking about in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, a lot like this podcast. I'm just kidding. Only me. I'm the problem here.
I wouldn't say it's a problem. But we do kind of shoot from the hip a little bit. But
yeah.
I think that's the authentic nature of it. You know, if we were reading from a script, it's like...
Yeah, I mean, if we were... it would be different content.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to write recovery scripts. Can you imagine? You remember like those... Okay, so everybody who's been to treatment has seen some video where it's like all staged, like recovery, rah-rah. Can you imagine having to sit and get paid to write that and then film it and then produce it?
Oh, man, I'd have ChatGPT write it.
I mean,
I wouldn't
in the 1970s or early 80s when that
waste
was
my time.
written.
I wouldn't waste my time writing it.
You know the movies I'm talking about. There's no way they had ChatGPT back then.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but yeah, not for me.
I always thought it was funny when people would be like, oh, we get to pick a movie and we can do that instead of going to like NA or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but you realize you're making like this is all so bad. Like, I mean, okay, do you? But like, why would you want to like subject yourself? Because I'm not letting you take books in there. I'm not letting you. You're gonna sit in a room and watch this on TV.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's. Oh my god.
You can totally see it's picking up on mine. Do I just let him back in?
Sure.
We'll just leave the door open. That's fine. That's funny. Hey, what are you on tonight?
You two are definitely on something.
Do you guys have a nip here or something?
No.
They get into the nip?
Nope, no catnip.
They are bored.
They're just in a spicy mood.
You in a spicy mood, kitty?
Yeah, you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Fabulous content.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, we're having fun.
Well,
we'll be able to chop it up and make something useful out of it.
Got any plans for this week?
Just continuing to work on getting caught up, getting the audio caught up to date on, so that it's synced up, so that we can actually release.
Yeah.
Same week as.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Well, I think last week's I had cut into usable format. You should be able to use that. But
yeah, the last two, the one I did and the one you did, should both be pretty much solid.
I have orientation at 11 tomorrow until noon, and then after that, I will be working on the podcast as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a couple of meetings, one in the books already, and then a couple others that I need to nail down dates and times yet, but potential interviews coming up as well. So I
will be streaming on Sunday as well. So if you guys are in our Discord, you can see the link to my Twitch stream there. If you're interested in watching me mix happy hardcore. But yeah, I think work on the podcast over the weekend and work on the basement there. I should have it ready to at least start demo, I would hope, by the time school starts. And then start school on Wednesday, and I will definitely be making guys shorts and let you know how it went, because it's going to be wild.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird.
Yeah, man. And starting tomorrow, it's day 1 of year 5. Because I just completed year 4.
Yeah.
So.
High five on that one, by the way.
Yeah, appreciate the
High
coin.
4.
Appreciate the coin. Yeah. That was,
yeah.
That was nice.
I mean, I could do less.
Yeah. No, it's honestly, like I was saying earlier, it's a lot less about me these days. I get a lot more out of
the look on his face when he was talking about his buddy with the light bulb going off, and like I was like, see, bro, now you know why we're here. Like now you see why I do this.
Yeah, and
because you can't save everybody, but I mean, you know, if you can just make somebody consider it.
Well, and the thing is, like, some people just aren't ready.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I wasn't,
and yeah, it took me till I was 40.
Yeah, I mean, I was 39,
so
I feel that
it's just the way it is, but I'm happy to be there for anybody that decides they are ready. So, you know, that's really what it comes down to, is putting effort in where it's going to actually make a difference, and not just trying to force a square peg in a round hole, you know?
Yeah. I'm done beating my head against the wall.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, the trying to fix everything for everybody ends up just
ruining yourself.
Well, and robbing everybody of the ability to have a chance to feel the satisfaction of fixing it for themselves, and learning that lesson for themselves, whatever that might be. So that's been the hardest thing, I think, for me to change in my personality. Is I've always wanted to be the fixer and wanted to be the helper, and so learning to step back a bit and help guide rather than
No, I feel you.
So
yeah. Anyway, if you've made it this far, why don't you guys go ahead and like the video?
Yeah.
If you haven't already, subscribe.
Yeah, for more French toast inspired content.
And
hit the notification bell.
If you yearn for the AdSense gods to notify your phone every time we drop new content, go ahead and hit the bell. See, now she's mad. I wonder if the camera zoomed in on that, because that would be fantastic. Oh yeah, but she'll do it that way. Yeah.
If she does it on her own, she's fine.
Interesting. Anyway. Thank you guys for joining us. Yeah, we'll see you next week. See, now she's mad.